Hello everybody, welcome along to another edition of Path to the Pinnacles, and the path reaches the pinnacles this week. It is day number 1. It is going to be a terrific day of racing. My name is Tim Walker. It is great to have your company. Also great to have the company of Digby Beecham. Hello, Diggers.
A very good morning to you, Tim. Good to be back.
It certainly is. And also Taylor Cortland is with us as well. Hello to you, Taylor.
Hello, Tim and Digby. If we've reached the pinnacles, is it no longer the path to the pinnacles?
Well, we're navigating a path through the pinnacles now.
Okay.
So
We'll have to change a couple of graphics then.
Yes, well,
Okay.
I still like the graphic that is behind your head there, TC, and also the one that is behind Digger's head. And, well, the path to this Saturday, it's an exciting one. There is so much to take in and look at. En route to this opening day, we're going to get stuck straight into it. 5 black-type races to look forward to, and the first one is a juiced-up listed feature. It's the Placid Arc Stakes over 1,200 metres. It gets underway at 5:03, gents. And having a look at the market, $4.20 Baby Paris heads it up. $4.80 is All Show. My Bella May, the real X factor in this race this week, $5, $6.50 rumour says. Wild Bell at $9. It is $10 and upwards the rest. TC, let's have a look at the speed map.
Well, let's have a look at that, Tim. Your guess is about as good as mine, I think. There's a lot of speed in this race. Just Go, Baby Paris drawn wide. Street Parade likes to be handy, drawn a little bit sticky. Wild Bell can go forward. I don't think she'll go as forward as Baby Paris and Just Go. Rev It Up can lead. I think All Show has the speed to lead. Whether or not Connections and Sean O'Donnell want to lead, that's the big question. Look, if you were to pin me down, I think Just Go leads. Baby Paris can get outside into the breeze in that instance. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's about sort of 5 options to have your leader at the 400 metre mark.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And the more the week has gone on, the more I've swayed back towards Baby Paris. When she came up with barrier 13 earlier the week, I thought, oh boy, that is a hammer blow. There is a lot of speed in this race, but a lot of it is 1,000 metre speed. And a lot of these horses, not a lot, but there's multiple horses in this race who are getting to 1,200, some for the first time. And that is a completely different dimension to the way that they have been accustomed to racing. Does Rev It Up, off one trial, want to get to the lead and bowl along over 1,200 metres when she's never been there previously? I'd argue maybe not. So you're right, Just Go's quick. If Just Go gets there and has Baby Paris to his immediate outside and Baby Paris is able to breeze at 1,200 metres and they go a controlled tempo, a lot of ifs and buts here, I think Baby Paris is the one they need to beat.
Well, let's start there. Baby Paris, she took out the Placid Arc Prelude. There's only one horse in this state that has beaten Baby Paris. That's Amelia's Jewel. That was in the Karrakatta Plate. TC, let's have a look at this filly who is an absolute ripper from the Colin Webster yard.
Probably a little bit overlooked, I dare say. Baby Paris, she was outstanding first up in the Placid Arc Prelude. You'd think being first up for a couple of months on that occasion, she only comes on from there. She will need a lot of luck, as we spoke about, with the draw. She's drawn wide. She's drawn outside, a lot of speed. I don't think she has any option to go back. I think it's sort of try your hand and go forward, hopefully land outside the leader. I think that's the best case scenario, and I agree. If she does find that spot, and they haven't done too much work early, she's a massive hope.
She is, because she was strong at the end of the 1,000 metres in that Placid Arc Prelude. I'm not saying All Show wasn't, but she pulled clear. And, she was off a little bit of a trial and a bit of a freshen, whereas All Show had had a run or two and was probably a little bit more conditioned than her. She's a ripper, and one thing with her is she's a little bit highly strung, a bit fidgety. She'll be last into the machines from barrier 13, so she won't have time to fluff around in the gate. She'll be in and out, which will work in her favour as well.
And then the horse that brings the X Factor, as I referenced earlier on, is My Bella May. So 2 for 2, My Bella May from the Dion Luciani yard. Has 3 in the race, TC does Dion, and you're pretty keen on this filly.
Well, I think the race just sets up beautifully for her. Last start, they went at a really nice tempo. She was able to quicken off that quick tempo. I think the race here on Saturday sets up in a very similar manner. She's able to show that turn of foot at the end of 1,200 again in a really fast run race. I think that's going to put her in really good stead, albeit she does need to make that quantum leap up into listed grade.
You're right, she does. But what we are seeing, I think, also at Ascot at the moment, horses making that jump because, one, they've clearly got some ability. Two, they're running times. And the clock doesn't lie. Carly's Karma, case in point. She had to make a quantum leap to Group 2 weight for age company as an 80 rater. What did she do? She stretched Massimo to her head. Why? Because she's running times. This filly's running times. If she backs up, she can win.
All right, that's a look at a couple of the key contenders for the Tab Touch Placid Arc Stakes. Let's get some numbers on this race, gents.
I'm with Baby Paris, Tim. As I said, I've been with her all the way through. I think she is the best horse in this race. She is going to need luck. You'll know your fate early doors, I think, once those machines open. But I've got her on top from My Bella May, and I'm still working around the other numbers, but I am 7 from 10 at this stage, absolutely.
10 on top for me. My Bella May, probably more of a map selection more than anything with all that top-end tempo. I was trying to find the horse with a nice turn of foot that's going to just sit off them and blouse them late. I think My Bella May is that horse. To beat Rumour Says, who I think maps in a similar position, maybe 3 wide with covering with a few horses at the front of the field, maybe getting tired over the concluding stages. She might be able to get them over the top. 7, Baby Paris. I think I agree with Digby that she probably at the moment is the best horse in this race. And at number 11, Wild Bell, still on the app. K10, she just maps a little bit sticky. 10, 8, 7, 11.
All right, well, just for a little bit of a point of difference, I'm happy to settle with Rumour Says in that race. But let's turn our attention now to race number 6 on the program. It is the Euros Hartley's WA Champion Fillies Stakes. It's over the mile. It's at 350. We're profiling 2 horses on every one of the features, and the 2 to profile here are clearly the 2 that sit at the top of the market. It's $2.60 Laced Up Heels, Vampy at play $3, Sessoir heads up the rest at $10. TC, the speed map here, do you expect Vampy at play to be a bit more prominent?
I thought she'd probably try and settle 1-1 in a similar position than what to what she did last start, but concede. I've got no real idea about the speed map here either, Digby. We've got Legacy at Tara, who probably goes forward. Sessoir from gate 1 probably lands on the back of the leader. Outside of that, there's not a lot of speed, not a lot of horses that I think will go forward. So I can see this race being run at a very muddling tempo.
Who does that suit then, if that is indeed the case in Vampy at play? I think Vampy at play might follow Legacy of Tara across and find the breeze. And therefore, Stephen takes all bad luck out of the equation. Hopefully we can have a chat to him in the Hour of Power tomorrow morning and maybe get an insight into what he's thinking. But given she's been luckless, through no fault of Steve's, I don't think. I don't think we can point the finger at Steve. He's just been bereft of any good fortune in the run. Maybe he overcorrects that and says, you know what? I'm going to breeze here in what could be a modestly run mile, and therefore I'll get no bad luck, and if she's good enough, she wins.
All right, well, let's look at these 2 in depth. It's been a little while since a filly has done the Burgess Queen and WA Champion Fillies Stakes double. You have to go back to Miss Rose de Largo, but that is what Laced Up Heels is looking to do this week, TC. She was brilliant in the Burgess Queen.
What a first campaign this galloper has had for Luke Fernie. He's done an outstanding job. A winner over 1,000 metres 2 starts ago, made the quantum leap up to 1,400 metres in listed company. Amelia's Jewel had her back. Now, Laced Up Heels had a weight advantage on that occasion, but the turn of foot she showed in a fast run 1,400 metre Burgess Queen was outstanding. There's no reason to suggest 1,600 metres won't suit her as well, and if the race does work out the way we think it will, Digby, I think she's in the 3 wide train, and that might be the best place to be.
And she dropped like a bomb. She dead set quickened up. She dropped off Amelia's Jewel around the corner. Now, Amelia's Jewel did have 3 more kilos, but she got from point A to point B rapidly. And that turn of foot is going to carry a long way. That was 1,000 to 1,400. 1,400 to 1,600, digging through a pedigree last night. She's got marooned, Sydney Cup winner on the dam side. She's out of an Exceed and Excel mare. So I don't think the mile is going to pose any problems.
I don't think the mile will pose too many problems either for Vampy at play, who is the other key contender to profile here, Diggers.
No, exactly right. As we said, luckless 2 starts ago when beaten by Real Grace, and therefore she went to the Burgess Queen. She was firm in the market. She was single figures in a race when you had a raging 2s on pop in Amelia's Jewel, and she was beaten more than 9 lengths. Just disregard that. She's a live hope, and look, I've got the pair of them joint favourites in my market. A little bit bigger than what they are currently with Tab Touch. That's understandable. But it wouldn't be a shock if either of these fillies won. And I must admit, it's a flip of the coin job for me, TC.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, Laced Up Hills came up favourite. You referenced the fact Vampire Play last start in the Burgess Queen was $5.50. Laced Up Hills was at $15. Started at $15 on that occasion. Now, Vampire Play, we just disregard everything that happened in that race. And if we go back and look at the market suggested that Vampire Play was going to be competitive with Amelia's Jewel.
Yes.
So it's a great guide. I thought she'd be favourite. Come up. A lot of people were keen in the Burgess Queen on Vampire Play. So from a betting perspective, right here, right now, I'd probably side with Vampire Play as the better value.
All right. So are we both Vampire Play here, gents?
I'm Laced Up Heels.
You're Laced
Tim.
Up Heels?
Just,
Okay.
yeah. She's a winner.
Yep.
She's won 3 of 5. Vampire Play's been a little bit luckless, has won 1 of 6. Chris Parnham, I can see TC, as TC mentioned, a 3-deep line evolving in that race on Saturday, this race, and if that's the case, this filly's got a wicked turn of foot. Not that Vampire Play hasn't. I'm fully respecting her. 1, 3, 5, Seswa, who's ticked the mile box seats, and 8, Yarra Lee was last turning for home in the Burgess Queen and got to the line really well after she was slow to step. She was a massive price on that occasion. Looks like the mile will suit. 1, 3, 5, 8.
1, 3, 5 and 4 for me. 4, Mr. Kova in for 4th off that nice run in the Burgess Queen. But I just think the 3 wide line is going to be the best place to be in this race. Not overly keen to bet at this stage just because I'm not really sure how the race is going to be run.
And I'm not sure how that track's going to play, Tim. Early doors this season at Ascot, the rail was dynamite. The last 2 Saturdays, you've been able to make ground down the middle of the track. And if there is going to be like that again, maybe that will work in the favour of Laced Up Heels.
All right. I'm Team Vampire Play in the Champion Filly Stakes. It's an absolute cracker. We're looking forward to it, even in the absence of Amelia's Jewel, who we'll talk about next week. We turn our attention, of course, now to the Euros Hartley's Foundation Colonel Reef Stakes. Last chance for a lot of these to top things off for the winter bottom in a couple of weeks' time. Down the page here, $3.20 Elite Street, Miss Kentucky, $3.80, $6.50 is Will Chino, $8 This Will Test You, $8.50 Red Can Man, $18 and upwards the rest. Much like the previous race, TC, the speed map is very, very interesting and very important to the running of this Group 3 event.
Well, I think Will Chino leads. Because I think Indian Pacific probably finds a spot outside Will Chino. This will test your Money Matters. They have speed. They're drawn wides. Money Matters might be the one left without cover in the 3 deep train. This will test you. That's obviously an option for her as well. Red Can Man and Express Time, probably that second pair. And then the rest of the field probably trying to find their way back in the field. Elite Street, a 3 wide with cover. That's probably ideal for him.
It's a perfect gate for Elite Street 9 in a fast run 1100 metre race. He's fresh. We know he's dynamite fresh. I thought This Will Test You was the big loser with her racing pattern in this race from that barrier because there's sufficient speed, like an Indian Pacific, Will Chino, Nero Dio, Express Time, horses that are going to kick up inside her. Red Can Man leaves the machines really quickly. Sean McGruddy won't give an inch there. Therefore, she's going to have to do some work again.
What's Money Matters do, though?
Well, he'll come across. I think he'll come across.
Will he
but
give This Will Test You some cover?
Possibly. You'd have to. You'd want. But again, do you send him? Do you absolutely send him knowing full well you're not going to be able to sit 3 deep with no cover and win this race?
I don't think going back you're going to win the race either.
Yeah, but you don't give him a gut buster. That's what I'm saying. If you send him, where do you get? You just get posted.
Well, let's have a look at these 2 key contenders because they're not going to have anything to do with the speed battle early. And we might be talking about the best horse in WA right now. That is Elite Street. He won the race last year. TC, does he return a winner this year and make it back-to-back wins in the Colonel Reef Stakes?
Well, he returned a winner earlier this year in the Northern Stakes. He beat Red Can Man on that occasion, carried 59.5. He did have the benefit of a trial on that occasion. He hasn't trialled up this preparation, but as we continue to say, if there is one trainer that can get the horse to the races fit and firing without a trial, it's Dan Morton. So who are we to question where Elite Street's at? If he's anywhere near his best, I think this race with a nice top-end tempo, where he's going to be in the run, 3 wide with cover, Brad Rawiller can pull the trigger whenever he wants. It looks to set up perfectly.
Yeah, it certainly does. I must admit, I'm in a little bit of a dilemma here because you're acknowledging that Elite Street is, well, I think he's a lot of people's on-topper for the winter bottom. Dynamite fresh, best horse in this state, proven at weight for age. Winner of this race last year, has amassed an outstanding record. But you've got a mare in form. We know the old saying about a mare in form. He's going to let that speed go. They're going to go hard. She'll be flashing late. Is she going to be like a Graceful Girl was in this race last year, just chasing behind Elite Street? Possibly. 50-50. I think it's a race in two. I really do.
Well, that mare in form is Miss Kentucky. Will she continue her dine out on the lead-up races to the Winterbottom Stakes this Saturday, TC?
Well, she's going to have to give Elite Street a start, I think, on the map it looks like, and then run past him. Does get the advantage of 4 kilos off him, however. Drops from 56.5 last start. 1,100 if she shows that turn of foot again with less weight now. She's a massive player.
Given she gets 4 kilos off Elite Street, and this is 1,100 as opposed to 12, if she can't beat him with 4 kilo allowance in her favour, can she beat him in a Winterbottom?
Getting deja vu from a conversation we had 12 months ago, Graceful Girl and Elite Street. I would say no.
I think
right here, right now.
I'd agree with that. I think Saturday's the day where she has to get him. Because
right.
I don't think she gets him in a Winterbottom.
So does she get him?
Yes, just 50-50 again. It's a laced up heels vampire play conversation for mine, but I've got her on top just because she's flying and she's going to let that speed unfold. And she jogged up the other day. Like, as silly as it sounds, over that 1,000, she 32.5. Like, you don't run that fast for your last 600 in neutral, and that's what she seemed to do. She got there really, really quickly.
We speak about the pattern at Ascot. She's been the one that's got the biggest advantage. First up, when it was rails hot, she drew low. She had the fence. She got the split through the fence. And then last time, she was down the middle of the track where all the winners came from. So she's had a few advantages on that aspect. But I'm with her on top, just race fitness, Elite Street. It might be just 5-10% to come for a Winterbottom. 10, 1, 3 and 13 for me.
I think you can back them both. You can back them both. You can have a Dutch bet here and still finish in front. I'm 10, 1, 11. Amazinas. If you're looking at Roma Cup form, she ran third in the Roma Cup behind Elite Street, and her most recent effort was good. She's drawn a bit better. She's a big, strong girl. Third up. I think she's actually going okay. And I've got 14, Wilchina. I want to see her do it at this level. I think she can. I think she's really good. She's deserving of a good win. 10, 11, 1 and 14.
Might just follow your strategy in there, Diggers, and back both of them, both Elite, Miss Kentucky and Elite Street this weekend. What a terrific race it is going to be. Let's get on to the last of the Group 3s. It is the RJ Peters Stakes. It is the last roll of the dice to get into the Railway Stakes. This is over the 1,500 metres, race number 9 on the program, if you do not mind. It's at $5.39. Devoted is $2. Playing Marika, $6.50. Search and Rocks is at $9. It's double figures. The rest, Devoted, he's been bouncing around between $1.90 and $2 TC. $2 at the moment. He's going to be hard to beat.
Well, I think if we get late in the day and they're all making ground down the middle of the track, he might be truckloaded. Pike in the last, punters everywhere trying to get out on the day. From a speed map perspective, Cockney Crew, and I don't know what they do with Let's Gallivant from that wide draw. Do they maybe send him his race fit, chance their hand? Outside of that, Dom to Shoot from Gate 1 probably lands on the back of the leader. E Always 1-1 last of the line, playing Marika in that third pair. Speed Dream out on a limb a little bit, and then the remainder of the field back Devoted, 3 wide with cover, I think is the best he can hope for.
Yeah, I think he shortens up, and playing Marika, who's lethal on the 7-day spin around, and Steph continues to do a really good job with her team. I'm not sure that gate for her with her racing pattern is all that benefiting her. I don't think she's a great beneficiary of the draw. That's what I'm trying to say. Apologies there, but I think it starts with Devoted, and I think it finishes with Devoted.
Well, we'll start with Devoted right now. He was unlucky in the Asian Bow Stakes. We know he didn't have a great deal of luck first up either. He looks absolutely primed to take out a Group 3 this Saturday, TC.
Not much more to add, to be fair. I think he's the horse on the up in this field. His runs, despite having no luck whatsoever, have been good enough to think he should go to this race as an even money favourite and get the job done. And then we move on to next week in a Railway Stakes, and he's likely to start single figures.
Oh, very much so, yeah. He could even be vying with Alaskan Godfer, all in favouritism post-Saturday.
And Playing Marika is the other horse we'll have a look at. Could be the fly in the ointment here and maybe just upset the apple cart in terms of the Railway Stakes. Could she cause the boil over this week, Diggers?
Well, she's flying. She's going really, really well. I would love to have seen her in the 1,800 metres of the Lucky Grey, the other listed race on the day. But there's no knock on the yard. There's no knock on Troy Turner, who rides her well. He's probably going to have to be dictated to by what is unfolding in front of him, but it wouldn't be a shock if she runs particularly well.
All right.
7-year-old mare start 50 and she's arguably in career best form.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. Is career best form enough to put her in your numbers, maybe at the pointy end of your numbers, TC?
10, 6, 11 and 1 for mine. Devoted on top, barring touchwood any bad luck once again. I think you'll be winning the Peters. You'll be getting a start in the Railway. And I like the first up run of Dom to Shoot. I'm not sure Gate 1 here on the weekend suits him, but I think he's going really well. 3 wide, no cover first up, and he was still there with 150 metres to go.
I thought Search and Rocks had a bit to give first up for Jim Taylor, so she goes in for second. 10 on top from 12, Search and Rocks, 11 Playing Marika, and 1 last of the line. Disregard him going around last start.
He's going to be so hard to beat, Devoted, in the RJ Peters Stakes. That gets us to the last of our feature events this weekend. It's the Lucky Grey Stakes, renamed, of course, the Ascot Gold Cup, now the Lucky Grey, where we pay tribute to one of the greats of WA racing over the past 20 years or so. This is over the 1,800 metres. It goes at $3.08, $3.40 Buster Bash, $4.40 Pure Devotion, Stafford's Lad $6, $7.50 Billy Ray, Holy Enchantment is at $9, and Buster Bash looks to be one that might be a beneficiary of the speed map here, TC.
Yeah, agree with that, Tim. I think he's the only sort of horse that's going to really want to take it up and control. He's going to be able to do that. Black Shadow, Utgard, Loki, Bad Wolf, Billy Ray probably settle somewhere in that first 6. Pure Devotion has to go back, I think. So will Stafford's Lad. That's his racing pattern. Holy Enchantment, 3 deep with cover, but Buster Bash, he looks like he's going to find the front and control.
Yeah, exactly right. He's a very capable horse, and you're right. Some of these horses here have got their grand final a little way away. He's rock hard fit, in form, finds the top over the 1,800 metres. If he can get a cheap fraction or two, you can see Paul Harvey starting to stoke him up at the 600, then turning for home. He kicks into that corner, and Paul often rides horses aggressively into the corner, and then around the corner they go. And from there, there's a margin between from him and some of his rivals, that one of those being Pure Devotion, who's going to map rearward, you would think.
Yep. All right. Well, we won't spend too long on this one, gents. What are the numbers for the Lucky Grey Stakes this weekend, TC?
I've got Buster Bash on top just from a Speedmac perspective of what we mentioned. He's going to lead. He's going to be able to rate the race at his own leisure. Paul Harvey to beat number 13, Pure Devotion. I can see her hitting the line really hard. She comes out of a fast run, Eurythmic. Number 8, Billy Ray. He's going okay. And 3, Utgard Loki's going to enjoy a much better run than what he did during the Northern Cup, 5, 13, 8 and 3.
I'm with you in regards to Buster Bash. He looks awfully hard to beat here. Pure Devotion, she'll be hitting the line well. She's had a mid-prep trial since that first up effort and a fast run, Eurythmic. Lady Chant interests me. Had 61 the other day, drops to 54, getting out to a distance range which is going to suit. And 2, Stafford's Lad. Is he going to be suited by the step back in distance in a slow run race? No, but he is a winner. He's a ripper, and I need to respect him. So I am 5 Buster Bash, 13 Pure Devotion, 12 Lady Chant, and I'll throw in 2 Stafford's Lad.
All right, that's a look at the Lucky Grey Stakes. Now it is time for our $100 strategy. We've got 5 races to use it on here. Diggers, will go to you
I
first.
think you need to start, Tim, because you're
start?
seeing them like beach balls at the moment. You've been puffing your chest out all week saying, look at me, look at me. I've got you 2 mugs covered, so you might as well follow on with that.
No, rightfully so, I have been too. So I'm with Vampy at play here.
Tough to
Gents, we're just going to be very, very simple here. $100 the win. She's had no luck. She'll win the Champion Fillies this week, and we'll just build the bank from there.
No disrespect to the connections, but I'll be pulling on Vampy at Play's tail. Hardest I've ever done. I am going to have $80 on Devoted.
Yes.
And $20 on My Bella May.
Nice.
Right. Okay, I like that.
Nice.
I'm going to have a multi. In fact, I'm going to have 2 multis. I apologise to Christian, who does all of our graphics. Christian, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have $50 Elite Street into Devoted
Yes.
And I'm going to have $50 Miss Kentucky into Devoted, because I think those two are going to dominate the landscape at the pointy end of the Colonel Reeves, and I think Devoted wins the last.
Well, and you're getting north of $6 on both multis, so if one of them gets in, Diggers, you might be rocketing to the top of the leaderboard. Well, that has been Path to the Pinnacles this week. Next week, it is the jewel in the crown. It's the Railway Stakes, day number 2 of the Pinnacles. We look forward to your company then. Hopefully you find plenty of winners this weekend.
Join Tim Walker and Digby Beecham on the Sports Daily each weekday morning from 5:30.